was released last night from captivity. Gina Herity is an incredible humanitarian worker. She represents the very best of us, someone who has dedicated 3 decades of her life to looking after vulnerable children in Haiti. It has been an extraordinarily stressful and worrying time for Gina's family, for Gina's friends, for Gina's colleagues. And I just want to thank everybody who has been involved in working to secure her release. My own department officials, our diplomats, our embassy in the United States, our UN and EU partners, and local community leaders as well. I really want to wish Gina all the best. I ask that her privacy be respected at this time, and I really want to thank her family for working intensively with us. And I've been talking to them on a very regular basis, and they're wonderful, wonderful people, and I want to wish them all the very best after what has been an extraordinarily stressful time. I'm so delighted and relieved that Gina has finally been released. Today at the Foreign Affairs Council in the Gimmick format, I'd be very eager that we come together to have a proper conversation about what more can be done to actually make talks about peace in Ukraine a reality. While Putin is, talking about peace, he's doing absolutely nothing to indicate any willingness to bring it about. In fact, his reign of terror continues. He's making a mockery of the world that is engaging in dialogue, diplomacy to try and bring about peace. He still won't meet President Zelensky. He still won't agree to an unconditional ceasefire. And this week, of course, he hit and targeted our EU offices in Kyiv. So yesterday at our defence meeting, we discussed what more we can do to assist Ukraine. Today, as foreign ministers, I think we have to consider what more we can do in terms of sanctions against Russia. We are clearly going to need now to prepare for the worst, whilst always hoping for the best. We need to be much more robust in relation to our sanctions regime against Russia. We need to have a good, detailed discussion on the issue of the use of frozen assets as well, and I hope we can make progress on those matters today. Can I just say, though, in relation to Gaza, if the European Union does not act as a collective now and take sanctions against Israel, whenever will it? What more could it possibly take? Children are starving. In fact, we now have reports of children who cannot even cry because they no longer have the strength. We have been told by international organisations that there is a famine underway in Gaza. There is genocidal activity. And being honest, it's not enough to say, I want to see a ceasefire. It's not enough to condemn the actions. You have to say, what are we going to do as a European Union to help bring about the ceasefire? What are we going to do to make the Netanyahu government stop the killing of children, stop the killing of civilians? What are we going to do to ensure humanitarian aid can flow? And what are we going to do to make sure the hostages can be released? I think the world is looking at the European Union. I think our citizens are looking at the European Union, and they are not happy. We are not doing nearly enough. So the time for fine words of condemnation, words matter, but they're not enough. We now have to actually take very clear, very concrete actions to show that we actually have values in this European Union, and we intend to stand up for them. We intend to defend those values. And if you're found to be in breach of human rights clauses under an EU association agreement, that is not a consequence-free zone. So today I really hope we can move beyond words of condemnation, words about let's have another meeting in a month's time, and actually a substantive conversation about what sanctions the European Union can take as a collective. I think that's essential. And can I finally say, I'm very concerned about what we've seen overnight in terms of the revoking of visas for Palestinian Authority leaders due to travel to the United Nations for High-Level Week. A huge amount of work has been done, led by the French and the Saudis, to prepare for a conference on a two-state solution. And the idea that the leader of the Palestinian Authority would be deprived an opportunity to attend that simply isn't acceptable. And I believe the EU as a whole should protest this decision in the strongest possible terms. Thank you.
Goedemorgen. Een grote aanval weer afgelopen nacht van Rusland op Oekraïne. Wat kan er worden gedaan om Rusland te stoppen?
Nou, waar we het in ieder geval vandaag over zullen hebben is om de druk verder op te voeren als het gaat om sancties. Dat zijn sancties zowel natuurlijk richting Rusland direct als secundair.